The inspiration behind Fixing FANOS comes from a course that I have. It's called Help Her Heal Deep Study. And the course is designed for men to build empathy and emotional intimacy. It's based off the workbook by Carol Jurgensen-Sheets and Alan Katz. And with this course, I would hold online group meetings with several men, and we would go through the course together, go through the workbook together. And communication is a central theme in this workbook. It's central in the course. And what I found out was that a lot of men would say FANOS doesn't work well for us. Um, it's either too constricting or there's something going on and it feels like an impediment rather than something that's supposed to be beneficial. And I know how important it is to have communication in a relationship, especially in recovery, and learning how, maybe for the first time, to really convey feelings, needs, and all of those things. In fact, FANOS has worked very well for Rebecca and me. But what we learned was that we needed to adjust it a little bit to fit our situation. And I think that with a lot of the men that I heard saying that wasn't working for them, they went with it so strictly, or they weren't following the general guidelines, like going too long, or or interrupting, and those kind of things. So we spent a lot of time talking about each individual situation and what needed to work in order for the framework to be beneficial for them. And so over time, my wife and I developed uh, this idea. Is like, okay, there's nothing wrong with FANOS. I just like the title Fixing because it rhymes well. It's more like learning to accept the fact that everyone's situation is unique and it's okay to make an adjustment here or there, as long as both people in the relationship agree, and you're not doing that through any kind of coercion. And first of all, that gives both people a sense of agency, not only for themselves, but for something that they are instituting on the relationship, the framework itself, because the framework has rules and you're expected to follow the rules. Well, it's okay to say, you know what, either I don't need that right now, or we can't work on that right now. It's just too hard, but I want to make progress so that we can get there at some point. And that should be a recognizable goal. And so my wife and I came up with these different ideas. Okay, if it was necessary, how can we tweak it? Well, first of all, the things that I learned from experience, our own experiences going through the framework, was that I had the hardest time identifying my feelings. In fact, anyone who's a struggler is going to have that situation. And I would get very frustrated because I wasn't able to do so. And I forget exactly how it happened, but I learned that the feelings just naturally came up when I was doing an affirmation for my wife, saying something positive that I saw in her that day and how it made me feel. And so I learned that pairing those two things up works well together. And so that was the first thing that we adopted is, hey, start with affirmations, you know, because who doesn't want to hear something that other people saw positive in you that day? So that's what we begin with. And then follow that up with, how did that make me feel affirming that? How did it make me feel when I saw or recognized that in you? And we just went on from there. So that is the inspiration behind the article.